Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is episode 3 of AWS tutorials. In this video, we'll cover AWS Lambda and its integration with S3 bucket. In this video, we'll upload a file to S3 bucket that will automatically trigger AWS Lambda. Then Lambda will read the file content and it will create a new file and write it to S3 bucket. Okay, so let's move to that AWS console. Here, we'll first go to S3 bucket. See, S3 bucket is kind of a file storage. There we can store our files. Okay, like we save it in our hard disk and all, right? So in the same way, we can store all the files here in S3 bucket. Okay, so here we'll first create a S3 bucket. So we have two types of bucket type, general purpose and directory. So for now, we'll just select this general purpose only. And now we need to provide the bucket name. So let's provide a bucket name, my S3 bucket. The rest we'll leave it as it is. Okay, make sure you have disabled this block all public access to avoid any misuse of your S3 bucket. Rest we'll leave it as it is and we'll create the bucket. Okay, see, it's saying this bucket name already exists. So let's see if there is any bucket with this name in my account. No, it's not there. I have only this bucket, my S3 01011. Then why it is saying my S3 bucket already exists. So the thing is, in S3 bucket, the name cannot be same across all over the world. Like it does not depend on your account. It's related to all the accounts. Okay, so we need this bucket name should be unique across all the accounts across all over the world. Okay, so here we'll write instead of my S3 bucket, I'll write dev by Shashank, or I'll write DBS S3 bucket. Okay, this bucket already exists. Okay, so we'll use this name dev by Shashank S3 bucket. Rest we'll leave it as it is, and now we'll create this bucket. Okay, so the bucket has been created. I'll open this bucket, and what we'll do, we'll just upload a file here. Okay, so let's create a file first. Here, I'm creating a simple JSON file with first name as dev, middle name as by, last name as Shashank. Okay, I'll save this file. Okay, here now we'll upload the file. So see, this is the bucket. Here we can upload any file. Okay, so I'll click on this upload button, and there is this add files options. Now here I'll upload this S3 file. Okay, S3 file1.json. I'll upload it. Okay, so the file has been uploaded successfully. We can close this. Okay, now if you see, there is this file S3 file1.json. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll write a lambda that will read this file and will log the output in CloudWatch. Okay, for now let's create a simple lambda. Okay, so lambda part 1 we have already covered in the previous video. So I'll directly create a lambda here, dev by Shashank S3 integration lambda. I'll select Python 3.14. Rest, I'll leave it as it is. Okay, so the Lambda has been created. I'll scroll down. Okay, in the code section, I'll let me just maximize it. Here you can see like a default code is already there inside this Lambda handler function. Now what we have to do is we have to read the file that we have uploaded in the S3 bucket. Okay, so for that we'll create a function def read S3 file. Okay, now if you see Amazon Q, it is already providing a suggestion to write this code. Okay, so if I'll just click on this tab button, okay, here we have this thing. Now the first statement is import Boto3. What is this? So basically Boto3 is a AWS SDK that provides the functionality. It provides all the features using which we can connect across all the services of AWS. Okay. So using Boto3, we can connect with S3 as well. Now what we'll do, we'll create a S3 client. S3 client is to connect with S3 bucket. Okay. Okay. Now I'll just remove this line. Okay. Now the thing is how to know which method we have to use. Here it is saying s3.getObject. So for that, what we'll do, there is this Boto3 documentation available. Okay. So if you see, we need to import Boto3. Then using this line, we can create a client object for S3 bucket. Now the thing is, we have these many methods. Okay. So what we have to do, we have to get an object. So every file is an object. Okay. So I'll just click on this get object function. Here we have all the details related to this get object. Okay, here these are the arguments that this get object accepts. Okay, but we do not need to pass all the arguments. Only two arguments are mandatory: bucket name and key. So it will tell you which like from which bucket you want to read the file. Okay, so we need to provide the bucket name and then key is the file name. It Okay, I'll show you. I'll just go inside this S3 bucket. If I'll just click on this file, here if you see, this is the key is this file name. Okay, so it's a s3 file1.json. Okay, and it tells you about the location. Basically right now we have uploaded the file directly inside this S3 bucket. We have not created any folder, so that's why the key and the file name is same here in this case. Okay, so what we'll do, we need just bucket and key. Okay, so it's already written here. Let me just rename it to s3 client dot get object, and bucket and key we need to provide here. Okay, then it will give us a response. Now how to read the response, how to read the file data. I'll scroll down here. If you see, this is the response syntax. It returns this JSON object. So the first one is body, and it provides a streaming body here. Okay, so we need to read this streaming body only. So for that, this code is written response body. It will get that data from this body key. Then it will read it and decode it as UTF-8. Okay, and then it will return the response. Okay, so I'll just write here file data equals to read file with S3. Okay, here we need to provide the bucket name. What is the bucket name? I'll just copy this. Now I need to copy the file name, basically the key. Now I'll print file data in the CloudWatch. Okay, now let's deploy this code, and let's create a new test event. with name as test. Now I'll invoke it. Okay, so here we got an error. The error is access denied. The reason is we got access denied error while calling get object operation. Okay, we do not see. If you see here, this lambda dev by Shashank S3 integration lambda is not authorized to perform S3 get object on resource this one. Okay, so the thing is we have not provided any permission to our lambda to access S3 bucket. So for now, what we'll do, I'll go into this configuration, and here if you see in the left hand side there is this permission, and this is the execution role that lambda has created by default while creating the lambda function itself. I'll click on this role and it will open this IAM role in a new tab. So first of all, what is IAM role? So basically IAM is identity and access management. So basically we need to attach an IAM role to all the lambdas. Okay. And that IAM role defines the permission that lambda can perform. Okay. So if you see, there are few permission policies attached to this lambda. Okay. There is this policy, AWS Lambda execution role. I'll just expand this. It provides CloudWatch access to Lambda. Okay, so that Lambda can write the logs in the CloudWatch. We'll discuss this IAM role later in this series. For now, what we'll do, we'll just provide a new permission to access S3 objects. For that, we'll just click on this add permission and we'll attach a policy. Okay, instead of attaching policy, let's create an inline policy. Okay. Okay, here it's saying to select a service. We'll search for S3 bucket. And see, now we need to search for actions. So if I go here in this code part, okay, here this is the action get object. I'll just copy it and paste it here. Okay, we need this permission get object. Okay, for now I'm selecting all the resources. Okay, all the resources means all the S3 buckets. It can read, it can perform get object operation on all the S3 buckets that we have in our account. S3 read access. Okay, so the policy has been created and sometimes it takes a few seconds to reflect here. Okay, okay. So this time we triggered this lambda and it worked. So here if you see in the function logs, it has printed the file content. First name is dev, middle name by last name Shashank. Okay, so it is able to fetch the data from that file. Now what we'll do, so the first part is completed. Now we know how to read the data from S3 bucket. Okay, now let's do one thing. This time we have read this file manually. Now let's make it automated. For that, what we'll do, we'll just go to this S3 bucket. Now what we have to do is, let's create a folder here and name it as input files. Okay. Now inside input files, whenever we'll put any file, it should trigger that lambda automatically. Now how to configure that? For that thing, we are at the root folder of this S3 bucket. We'll go to this properties. We'll go to this property section, and if you scroll down, we have this event notification section. So basically, event notification is a thing like whenever we'll upload a file to S3 bucket, it will notify Lambda or the destination that will configure here that I have received a file. A file has been, that means like a file has been received in S3 bucket in that particular location. Okay, so it will provide that notification to the destination. So let's create an event notification here. Let's write event name is S3 input files. Okay, prefix. Now we need to provide a prefix. Prefix is, if I'll go here again to this S3 bucket, this is the prefix input files. So input file, if we'll upload any file inside this folder, that will be the prefix. Okay, let's see. I'll upload the same file here again. If you see, what is the key here? The key is input files slash s3 file1.json. Whatever files will upload inside this input files, the prefix will be input files only. So we'll just copy this input files and paste it here and forward slash. So this is going to be a prefix. Okay. Now suffix. So this is optional. Prefix is also optional. Okay. But we have provided because we're going to upload files here inside this folder only. Now inside the suffix, if we want, we can put .json here. Okay. Okay, let's put .json. Now we have to select the event types. So there are multiple event types. Okay, for now, for simplicity, let's select this S3 object created option, colon star, and here it will cover put, post, copy, and multipart upload operations. Okay, lest we can leave it as it is here. In the destination, we have three options. We can choose Lambda, we can choose SNS, we can choose SQS. For now, for simplicity, we'll let's select a Lambda function only. And now here we need to choose our Lambda function. So our Lambda function is dev by Shashank S3 integration Lambda. Let's select this one and save the changes here. Okay. So if you see, this event notification has been created for this input files, whatever files will upload inside this input files, and it should be .json. Then it will trigger this Lambda. Now, if you see, we have here hard coded the bucket name and the file name. So this Lambda code will not work. We need to modify this Lambda code. For now, let's do one thing. Let's see what we are receiving inside this event, because we'll receive that notification event inside this event object only. Okay, so let's print this event object here. And for now, let's just comment these two lines. Okay, and let's deploy the code. Okay, so the code has been deployed successfully. Now I'll go inside this S3 bucket. Inside this input files, let's delete this file because it will not work. It will not trigger Lambda for this existing file. So because this file was already there before creating that event function, event notification. Okay. So here, let's just delete this object. We need to type this permanently delete here and delete this. Okay. Let's upload the same file here. S3 file and upload. Okay. So this is done. So now we'll see the Lambda logs. For that, we'll go inside this monitoring section and we'll click on this view CloudWatch logs. Okay, this is the log group AWS Lambda dev by Shashank S3 integration Lambda. Here, if you see, we have this log stream. Let's open the latest one. Okay. Here, if you see in the event, we have got this JSON object. Okay. Let's see what is this JSON object. We'll open a JSON viewer, paste it, format. So here if you see, we have received this JSON object and the key is records here, and this records is a list. So here if you see, this is the JSON object inside this list and it is providing us the required information. So if I'll scroll down inside this S3 key, we have this bucket name. So this is the bucket name, dev by Shashank S3 bucket. And inside this object, we have this key input files s3 file1.json. So basically this event notification tells like what is the bucket name, what is this object name, and it provides some extra information also like size, e-text sequencer. But we need to focus on this bucket name and the key name. We'll fetch these information, bucket name and key name, from this object, and we'll read this file using this information. Okay, so let's go to that lambda and let's modify the code. Here, instead of hard coding, we'll fetch it from event object. Okay, so I'll write bucket name equals to, okay, so it will be event records of 0. So because list record was a list, so we'll fetch it from the first value. Here it's s3 bucket and name. Okay, so it will provide us the bucket name, and the second is object. Instead of object, let's write file name or file key. Okay, it will be inside this s3 object and key. Now let's just uncomment these two lines, and here instead of putting this directly, let's write bucket name, and here instead of this file name, let's put file key. Okay, and it will print the file data in the CloudWatch. Let's deploy this code. Now to test it, what we need to do is we need to upload a file here. For that, let's do one thing. Let's create a copy of this file and name it as 2. Now we'll upload this file here. Okay, so the file has been uploaded successfully and it takes less than a minute to trigger the Lambda. So if I go to this CloudWatch, here if you see, it has generated a new log stream here. If we scroll down, see in the event, the object key is input files s3 file 2. It's not 1 this time, it's s3 file 2, and it has logged the data as well. So here we have completed s3 trigger event notification. Okay, now what we'll do this time, like we are just reading the file as soon as we are receiving any notification from s3 bucket. Now let's write a file to the s3 bucket also. Okay, for that, let's create a file here. Here we know this that is a JSON object. So let's modify it to JSON. Let's convert it into JSON object. So here in the file data, we'll be having a JSON object. Now let's modify that JSON object and prepare a new string. New string as, or let's do one thing. Inside file data itself, let's write full name as file data. Let's see. Okay, this is middle name and the last name. Okay. So now we'll write this file data in a new file. Okay, for that, will write a new function, write S3 file here. Okay, here we need put object. Okay, if I go to this Boto3 documentation, here if we scroll down, there is this put object method available. We'll just open it and let's see how many arguments it needs. So here if you see in this put object, there are multiple arguments that are defined here, but we need only few: bucket, body, and key. So here in this bucket, we need to provide that S3 bucket name where we need to write that file. So key is at what location we need to write that file, and it provides the file name as well. And in the body, we need to provide the bytes. Okay, so here if you scroll down, it provides a description of the parameters as well. So ACL required is not written here. And if you scroll down for the bucket name, required is written here. That means it is mandatory. We need to provide the bucket name. So this is how we can check which parameters are required. So if we'll scroll down and if we search for required keyword, so for key also it's written required. Okay, now let's just go there. In the put object, here we need to provide three things: bucket, will provide key, and will provide the body. So basically that is the data that it will write inside that file. Okay, let's call this function write s3 file bucket name. We're gonna use same bucket name, but this time let's choose a different file key. Okay, so here what we'll do, output files, this will be the folder, and inside that let's use the same file name. Okay, so we'll put the same file name and file data will be the same. Okay, so let's just print here file has been success, file has been uploaded successfully. Let's deploy this code. Okay, now there is one thing in the IAM role, we have not provided permission to this Lambda to write a file to an S3 bucket. It was just for get object. We need to provide a permission for put object as well. So we'll go inside that IAM role. We'll click on this add permission. Inside this, we'll select create inline policy. Here, let's choose a service S3. Here we'll search for put object. In the resources for now, we'll just select all. Next, let's provide policy name S3 write access and create the policy. Okay, so the policy has been created. Now we're going to upload a file inside this S3 bucket. For that, let's create a file 3 here. Okay. Okay, so the file has been uploaded successfully. Let's see the Lambda logs. Let's refresh it. Okay, and here if you see, we have received this event. Here the key is s3 file3.json. Okay, this is the file data, and here we have this statement file has been uploaded successfully. So our Lambda got executed successfully. Now let's see in the S3 bucket whether Lambda has uploaded the file successfully or not. So for that, we'll go, okay, here if you see, we never created this output files folder, then how it got created. So basically, we are uploading a file inside this output files. Okay, here we have configured that thing. Inside this Lambda, we have configured output files. So here, if that folder is not present, it will create it automatically. I'll now go inside this output files, and here if you see, a file is already there, s3 file3.json. Let's download this file and let's see it. If you see here, if you see here, we have this contained file name, first name dev, middle name, last name, and full name that we created, dev by Shashank. Okay, so this is how we can read the file from S3 bucket. We can write a file to S3 bucket, and we have also learned like how to do it automatically, how to create S3 trigger event notifications. So guys, we have covered all the objectives. Thank you guys. In the next video, we are going to cover SQS integration with Lambda. And if you have liked the video, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon so that you can receive the latest notifications. And if you have any doubt, just drop it in the comment box. Thank you guys for watching the video.